Hello, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly episode. This is episode number 264, and it is June the 4th, 2024. So let's jump right into what I've been working on. Now, I'm sorry, this is a repeat because you have seen this before, but this is now completely finished. This is the quilt that it's based upon the Churchill block that we're doing the sew along. I'm doing the sew along with Stephanie from Stephanie of Stitches. And we're coming up to almost the last of that video series, but I thought I'd give you a sneak peek of what my finished product looks like because, of course, I worked ahead. But I've got a lot of projects, so I had to. Yeah. But anyways, here it is. I pointed out, I think, last week some of the things that I had some problems with, and this is going to sound strange, but it was nice to hear from some of the other subscribers who are working on this pattern as well, who had the same problem as I did. And we've come to the conclusion that that problem with lining up some of the little corner squares when you put it into a bigger piece, probably would have been a problem for Doug Lico too, okay, if I may be as bold as to suggest that someone that's of his caliber of pattern designing, pattern writing, and I do mean that with the greatest of respect because he is a good pattern writer. He didn't put these blocks together. He made one block and called it a table topper in that book. I took it and made 9 of those blocks and put them together for a quilt. And therein lies maybe one of the problems. Also, I think a lot of the problems stem from that whole corner, what do they call it? The switch and flip, or sew and flip, or sew and switch, whatever, where you put a square onto the corner of a rectangle, draw a diagonal line down, sew on that line, fold the corner over, press it, chop off the excess, okay? I think that's where the problem lay in getting everything lined up, right there at the very beginning when we did the first unit. Now, I have since then been reading and looking at some YouTube videos about doing that method. And on the Opinionated Quilter, I believe it was this past week, she showed how she does it. And it makes a lot of sense. And I know a lot of you know this already. And I know this too, and I didn't do it. But I think it does make a difference. What she says to do is, first of all, draw your line and then sew just inside that line. Okay, so like about the width of a thread. And that should make it line up with the corner better. And then she says if it doesn't quite, just trim off the excess from that square. Turn it over to the wrong side, see if it's overhanging your rectangular piece, and trim it there. And you want to know something? I think that's the method I will use the next time I come to this kind of situation, and see if that does make a difference. Because I think I was probably out in that very first unit only by about a 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch, and that was just enough. It compounded. And so, yeah, a man on a galloping horse going 3 miles an hour will not notice that mistake, but I know it's there and it bugs me. So this quilt will probably be a charity quilt. More about charity quilts in a little bit. Okay, so that's what I've been up to. I'm glad it's done. I have been working on a secret project, and I'm sorry, but I cannot reveal that secret project until next year. Yeah, next year. Because it is something I'm working for Stephanie's Berlin retreat next April, which you know I'm going because she has asked me to be a teacher, and it'll be something I'll be teaching. So I am dying to show it to you. I think it turned out really nice. I haven't quite got it quilted yet. The secret project's what I'm talking about. But no, I cannot show it to you. And you know me and secrets. I don't keep them very well. So I thought I would also show you up close what the quilting looks like on the Churchill quilt. That's what I'm calling it. And so here's what I did with that. And you can see I did sort of a very curvy kind of line. And when I say me, I mean Quilt Path on my Lucy did it. And that came out pretty good. And here's the backing that I used. Might be busy, but fun. I really liked it. So that quilt is now done. Okay, let us move on, shall we? Before I do spill the beans. So this Wednesday coming up at the time of recording of this, that will be tomorrow, Wednesday, June the 5th, starting at 9 a.m. Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen. All are welcome. Come and go as you please. It's a Zoom. The links are in the show note. Okay, and this coming up this Thursday, we have another episode, and I think this may be our last episode in the Table-tastic Churchill block sew-along that Stephanie and I have been doing for the last month or so. Excuse me, getting the frog again. When is it that I make a video that you don't hear that I get a frog in my throat? I don't understand why. I really don't. It reminds me of the first day of school. First day of school, when I opened my mouth up for my new class, I would get a frog in my throat. I don't know if it's nerves or what. What am I nervous about? It's just me sitting here talking to myself, really, when you think about it. But anyways, so yeah. So the next session of Table-tastic 2 will be up this coming Thursday. Okay, yeah, there'll be one more after that. Yeah. Okay, so something went on. Sorry if I keep clearing my throat. So Saturday was a busy day. We went to a fabric sale, a fantastic fabric sale. And it was at a lady's store, which is actually an online store, but she has this sale once a year, an actual in-person sale in her driveway and garage. She has it all set up. Like there's tents covering everything. Everything's well organized. There's people there helping her to cut fabric. And it's Rhonda's Creative Quilts. And if you haven't checked her out, she's here in Ontario. She's about an hour's drive east of me. And she does have fantastic prices and a great selection of fabric online. But we went off to this sale because I was told that she has fantastic prices once a year on her fabric at this big sale. And so we went. Now, we anticipated that this could be busy. So we went, we left here early. Walter had to get up early, damn near killed him. And we drove there, and we were there at about 9 minutes after 9 o'clock in the morning. It started at 9 o'clock. We parked. It's in a residential area, where her house is located, of course. We parked around the corner from the house because we could see there was a lot of people parked on the street. And when we got there, there were lots of people, and more kept coming. So I'm glad we went early. So that's my first tip. If you ever go to Rhonda's Creative Quilts sale that she has in June every year, she lives in Brighton, Ontario. As I said, about 1 hour east of where I am, and I'm in Oshawa. So about an hour and a half or a little bit more from Toronto. So if you're in this area, do check it out next year if you've never been before, because her prices were to die for. Her fabric, her quilting, cotton, and batiks were $10 a meter. Tell me where you're going to find that. Okay, before I have a comment written by the Americans. Canadian dollars are not the same as American dollars. How many times have I said this? And still, people in the States don't seem to understand exchange rates. Things are much more expensive for us in Canada than they are for you. So someone's going to write and go, why, I get batiks for $7 a meter. No, you don't. Okay, you get them for $7, and it's not meters, it'll be yards for you. You get it for $7 a yard, maybe, in American money. Add 30% to that, because that's how much it costs us in Canadian money. Okay, so endeth the math lesson again. Anyways, it's a damn good price. It's basically, on average, half the price we usually pay for a meter of fabric. She also had wide backs for $15 a meter. And that's about half price, because the average price for wide back is about $30 a meter here. So she even had some bolts of fabric for $5 a meter. So we were there, we grabbed some fabric, stood in line, got it cut, and then went and got more. We were there probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours. The poor ladies cutting the fabric were worked to the bone, but you know, it was fairly efficient. But if you are going to go to this sale yourself, 2 pieces of advice: get there really early and take a bag or 2 with you as well. Bring a friend, bring your husband or somebody or your partner who can, you know, carry lots of fabric. Problem was Walter was buying fabric too, so yeah. And bring your patience, okay? They're working as fast as they possibly can. Don't have an appointment that you're just popping in before the appointment, because you're not going to make the appointment. I can tell you that right now. And that is not a criticism of Rhonda. That is just the nature of the beast. So come prepared. And it's kind of fun, too, because everybody's very jovial. I mean, when aren't you jovial when you're buying fabric, right? So it was great. So I am going to show you what this looked like. I have a little video insert that I'm going to put in here right now. Okay, so we're on the road today, and we're headed towards a place east of us called Brighton, because Rhonda's Quilt Creations is having a big sale. She has it once a year, and it's on this weekend, and she has ridiculously low prices on fabric. Now, I think she operates out of her home. Well, I don't think, I know. I have ordered from her once before, and I was very happy with her prices and her selection online. So this is supposed to be really good, according to a couple of our subscribers who have been to it before. It starts at 9 a.m. and runs until about 4 or 5 today, and the same tomorrow. We have no idea what to expect. She's advertising that she has yardage at $10 a meter, and batiks at $10 a meter, and she has wide backs at $15 a meter. So we'll see what we see when we get there. I don't know if what parking is going to be like, because I think she's just located on a regular residential street. Mind you, Brighton is not a big community. And yeah, there could be a lot of people there. There might not be, or maybe throughout the day, but that's why we're going early for when it first opens up, to, you know, see if that helps avoid a crowd, but not sure. We might get there and find there's a lineup that goes around the block. We'll see. Okay, we have arrived, and take a look. Cars are all parked down here. So lots of people here. I don't know how much video I'm going to get, because I may have to fight for positions around here, but we'll see. And we've only just begun to scratch the surface here.
Yes. It's fine, you can use it. Yeah, I bought some of this.
Hey everybody, well, we've done our shopping, and you'll see it later, but this is Rhonda. This is the lady who has this store. So Rhonda, how long have you been doing this sale?
This is the 3rd year.
Yeah, and it's great. I recommend everybody to come out, but come early and plan to spend a while here, because it's going to take a while, but it's great. And yeah, anything you want anybody to know about your business? You're online.
I am online exclusively. If you're local, have a project, and you want me to match something, if you bring that project here, I will actually go downstairs. I will try and match some fabric up, and I will bring it out so that you can see. I just don't have people coming in my house.
Okay, well, that's great. Well, thank you. I love this. I'll be back next year for sure.
I can't wait.
Yeah, thanks Rhonda. Okay, so I did buy lots of fabric, of course, at that price I had to. And I think in total, I'm not sure how many meters I bought. Anything you see on here on these next few pictures, those are all 2 meter cuts that I bought, with the exception of the wide back, which is where I buy 3 meters. And there were a few that I was very close to the end of the bolt, so I just took what was left on the bolt. So that meant I got maybe 2.5 to 3 meters of that. Anyways, here's some of the fabric that I bought. And before you ask me what do you have planned for doing with that, I do not know. I was just stocking up my stash as I often do. So here we go, these ones. And I do have a decided lack of yellows and oranges in my stash, so I thought I should get some of those, and red as well. Of course, I couldn't pass this one up because it's just fun and it's wild. And it would probably make a nice shirt, although I don't think that's the one. No, there is one, and I don't have a picture of it, that Walter bought. Well, I bought, but he said it would make a great shirt, so I bought it. He's going to make me a shirt from it. But there's some of it. Here's some more. Now, I was getting low on batiks. I love batiks. So, of course, I had to take advantage of that price. So here we go with what I bought in batiks. And this is a wide back. And I only buy one. I bought 2 wide backs. No, sorry. This is not a wide back. I bought this as background fabric. I'm trying to break out of the mold of always using white or a variation of white for background fabric. So I bought this because I thought it was elegant looking and would make an interesting background for a future quilt. Then I got some seasonal things. I bought some Halloween. Not that I do a lot of Halloween quilts or things like that, but I do like to make some kind of Halloween thing every year. And of course, I stocked up on some standard Christmas items here. I got your red, green, and then a white snowflake. I've had these ones before. These are not new lines, but they're good to have because they're great blenders and background. And of course, I saw this, the Hoffman Jingle Pop, so I had to have it as well. Now here are the wide backs that I bought. You can see I got 2 in the gray and this blue, and then this one right here. Now this one may look familiar to you because it's the one, or the design, I think it's a slightly different color, that I used on the Churchill, on the back of the Churchill quilt. So yeah, I am well stocked up with all of that kind of thing. So as I said, fantastic sale. So the way I found out about Rhonda's sale was from one of my subscribers, Michelle Gray, who lives in my area. And in my area this past weekend, there was a big spring country fair, the Brooklyn Spring Country Fair, and she entered some of her beautiful creations into that fair, and she won. She won 4 first prizes, and she won second prize in overall show. So I want to show you what her prize winning creations look like. Now, speaking of fabrics from Rhonda's big sale, I want to show you one of my subscribers' prize-winning creations that use some of Rhonda's fabrics that she bought at the sale last year. She sent me this email this morning saying, "Good morning, Steve. I'm glad to hear you made it to Rhonda's big sale. Can't wait till Tuesday to see your haul. I had a good run at the Brooklyn Fair with my quilting entries. 4 first places, 2 second places, and 1 third place, earning me a second place overall. My unicorn quilt top came in first in the unquilted top division. It is a pattern by Anne Lauer from Grizzly Gulch called Walkabout. It is all made with fabric from Rhonda's sale last year. The second picture is all of my first place wins. Quilted Christmas stocking, quilted table runner, and quilted bag." So let's take a look at these. So here is her prize winning quilt top in the unfinished quilt top or unquilted quilt top entry, and it is gorgeous and really whimsical, and I love the unicorn fabric that's in it. And you can see right up here, there's her ribbon for first place. And then here are her other entries as well. So that, of course, at the top is her quilt top. And then we have the Christmas stocking, the table runner, and the bag. And all are very, very lovely and all prize winners and so well deserving of those prizes. So thank you very much, Michelle, for sending those on to me. I loved seeing them. Maybe I should enter the fair next year. I don't know. It's a thought. Okay, so once again, congratulations, Michelle. Well done. Okay, so that takes me to some of my quilts, and you know how mine have been accumulating over the last few years since I started into quilting, and I have been looking for places to donate them, and it's been very disappointing because you send out emails and requests and ask them if they're interested in that, and you never hear back from them. But I finally found two places in my area that said they would gladly accept quilt donations. One of them is the YWCA. They need quilts for their women's shelter. And the other was social services in my area that have a shelter for basically homeless people as well. So I donated 6 quilts to each one of those, and I have another 6 quilts that I'm donating to Project Linus. You know that I have donated a couple of quilts to them before, so I contacted the lady about that, and she's on holidays right now, but comes back this weekend, and then after she gets back, we'll be in touch and make arrangements to drop those off. So in total, I have donated 18 this round, 18 of my quilts. And yes, packing them up for delivery brought a little bit of a tear to my eye. But then again, I looked at them and went, I'm not doing anything with them. In fact, some of them I had forgot that I made. Yeah. So out of sight, out of mind, I guess. So they're going off to be useful. It's time to let my children go out into the world. I made a little video showing you, though, what it was that I donated.
Okay, so I've gone through all my quilts and I have a big pile to donate. This is one pile. These are for Project Life. These are for Project Linus. My old scrapbook days are catching up with me. Anyways, these are for Project Linus, and there are 6 quilts, I believe. Yes, 6 quilts there. These ones on the table, 2 piles. This pile, there are 7 quilts. Those are designated for the YWCA for their Women's Shelter Program. And these ones are for Durham Social Services, and there are 6 quilts here, and these are for their outreach programs for supporting, people who are homeless or that kind of thing. I contacted all of these sites, and they're all very willing to take these quilts. But I still have quite a few more, which you'll see in a minute. I also have a couple of quilts that right now I'm just washing. And there are 2 quilts for Quilts of Valor, and I'm going to take pictures of those and see if the Quilts of Valor representative is willing to take these on. She'd be the same lady that I went to last year. So now I'm going to show you what my quilt pile looks like now. So as you can see, these bags have a lot of quilts in them, and I still have quite a few laying around, but I've organized them. I have my Halloween quilts, which come out at Halloween time for decorating, and below that I've got potential gift quilts, 2 big bags of those. These are quilts that I'm saving to give as gifts in the future if I find a willing or a quilt-worthy recipient of those. The ones down in here are my grandmother's quilts, actually. So they're vintage quilts. Then I have what I call keeper quilts, and I have one says keeper quilts and then one says keeper odd quilts. They're quilts, some of them are quilts I made early in my quilting journey, and so they're kind of, you know what I mean. And others are kind of novelty quilts or quilts that are, I don't know if I could potentially give them as gifts. It would depend on who I had in mind to receive it. And then I have a bag of table runners in small pieces because, I'm always making table runners, but again, those are something that could be given as gifts or whatever. So that's all organized. Now, this is not the final organization in here. This is the beginning of my start to cleaning up my Lucy room. And you can see I have a ton of books here. They have to go. I have a ton of 3D prints I need to go through, get rid of some. I don't know what I'm going to do with the other ones yet. Then I have these huge bags of batting down here, which, sad to say, but no, I'm not going to Frankenstein my batting in here. I'll look at some of the larger pieces. I will keep. The other ones are just going to go. I just have no use for them. I've been collecting them for so long, and I haven't used them yet, and I never probably will. Then, of course, there's a lot of paint stuff behind that kitty quilt that's hiding all of that. That's art supplies. It has to go. All of that area has to be cleaned up. And under here by Lucy, I want to get rid of all these and replace this with Alex units and reorganize my thread stash. And yeah, there's still a lot of work to do. So the beginning of this was just sorting through the quilts. Eventually these bags of quilts are going to go down under here where all this batting is, and that's going to give me some table space over there. At least that's my theory, and we'll see how that works out. And one other thing I was going to show you as well, and I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, my quilt rack. I reorganized my quilt rack, and I took a few of my more unusual types of quilts, novelty quilts, things like that. My Australian quilts are in here, and I've just refolded them all and laid them out here on my ladder, which looks pretty out in here. So yeah, that's what I've been up to when it comes to quilt donations and plans for future developments in Lucy Room.
And I will donate more quilts in the future as well. One thing that's a little disappointing is, maybe that'll come, but you don't get a thank you note, like a thank you email. That's kind of, you know, I mean, I know I'm doing this. It's a donation. It's a charity. Okay, blah, blah, blah. But a thank you note wouldn't hurt. It really wouldn't. I think it would encourage more people to donate things to these outlets as well, you know. It's just right. If someone gives you a gift, don't you say thank you? Anyways, moving on. Okay, so I did it. I pulled my Continental M7 Janome machine apart and deep cleaned it. And it was easy. Really easy. Now, I made a video of it all along the way when I did it. And it turned out that video runs about 40 minutes. So I'm not going to insert it here. I am going to insert a little bit of a teaser for that so you get a sense of it. But that link, it is up on my channel, on the Idiot Quilter channel. And it goes live at about, after I'm finished this video. And there's a show, a link, that's what I'm trying to say here, a link in the show notes for it if you're interested in what's involved in deep cleaning a Janome M7. And actually, if you have a Janome machine, most of them work about the same way. And if you remember, I did do a video showing you cleaning my Skyline S7. It's also a Janome machine if you're not aware of that. And yeah, if you've watched that one, then, you know, if you've got a Janome machine, you should not be afraid to take it apart at all. And I learned all of this from Sew Doc Academy, which runs courses that you pay for, but you have them up. They're all video courses on working with whatever machine you have. It's not just Janome. And it's excellent. It is absolutely excellent. And just by cleaning those two machines myself, I have saved $240. So, yeah, that's pretty good. So anyways, here's the little teaser that I made to entice you to watch the full video. It's a little tight. There we go. Ooh, and this is coming right off. So we'll get this screw out. And we're going to put that in the section marked number 1, faceplate. And that just comes off just like that. Now, looking inside of it, it looks pretty clean. And I'm just taking a quick look down here along the shaft and see if I see any threads or anything. I don't. So I think what I'll do is I'll grab my air gun. And while I have this off right now, before I take off anything else, I'll give it a little blast. So you'll find a link in the show notes for the whole video showing how I clean my Janome M7. So that takes us to the quilt of the week from a subscriber, and this is a longtime subscriber, Nancy Ryan. We've seen some of her beautiful creations before, and this is another in the hoop beautiful creation for you to see. This week's quilt from a subscriber comes from Nancy Ryan, and Nancy Ryan sends me this beautiful table runner that she did in the hoop in her machine, an embroidery machine. And Nancy and I share a common love of doing machine embroidery, especially when it comes to doing in the hoop appliques. And this is a stunning example of what exactly you can do with your embroidery machine. I absolutely love it. It would be great for any year-round kind of display. It's absolutely gorgeous, and you did a really fine job of putting the panels together, and I love your border treatment as well with the binding, because you've made it look like it basically has a, and maybe this is what you call a, the name escapes me, but when you have a little border on the inside of a bigger border, not piping, well, you guys know what I mean, but it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. So thank you, Nancy, for sending that to me. And I'm running out of submissions. So if you've got something you'd like me to feature here on the Idiot Quilter, send me one picture of it and a little blurb about it, no more than 50 words, and I will be happy to show your creation on a future episode of the Idiot Quilter. Okay, so that takes me to YouTube of the week. Okay, we're in summer now. People are probably enjoying dinners out on their patios, on their decks, having picnics, things like that. And one of the problems we have when we do outdoor dining is paper napkins blowing away. So this, I found, was a fun tutorial. I forget the name of the gentleman doing it. Tim something. Nodding, I don't know. But it'll be in the video clip that I created about making a picnic napkin fabric caddy. This week's YouTube clip comes from Timothy Totten, and Timothy is a sewer. He does all kinds of different things. He does all kinds of different reviews on different sewing products, sewing projects, and things like this. And this is one of his sewing projects, which I think is a very timely one right now, because now we're thinking about dining outside more when the weather is nice, picnics out on your deck, at a picnic table, whatever. And he has a really practical and fast project for keeping your napkins, your paper napkins, or as we call them in Canada, serviettes, in check. And so in this tutorial, he shows you how to make what he's holding up here in the still, a little holder for holding your serviettes, and you can pull them out and use them as you need. Now, no need to chase them all over your yard or anything like that when the wind comes up and blows them away. So I think this is a great idea. I have seen similar ideas like this before, and I've actually seen in stores where you can buy things for keeping your serviettes or your napkins in check during blustery days. But it might be nice to make something fun using some of your scraps or fat quarters from your stash that are just a little bit different and unique. And I think it would make a really cute little hostess gift as well, especially if you put some really fancy napkins in this little holder. So that's Timothy Totten, Picnic Napkin Fabric Caddy Fun Tutorial. So, future projects for me. Now that I've got the Churchill quilt done and my special little project is done, I can turn my attention to something new. And that something new is something you've already heard about, and that's the Underground Railroad sampler. Now, you know that Stephanie Stitches has been doing a series of tutorials about each block from that book, and that's really what got me turned on to the idea. So I did purchase the book. I got it from Amazon, amazon.ca. It's more expensive, of course, again, going back to what I said about the difference in the exchange rates between American dollars and Canadian dollars. So it cost me $36.89, as you can see here, but it's a great book. It's by Eleanor Burns, and it's an old book. As you can see, they say it came out in the 1st of January, 2003. So it's a 20-year-old book, 21-year-old book, but it's timeless because of the blocks that are in it. And I'm kind of looking forward to doing this for a couple of reasons. One, this is something I don't feel that I'm going to rush to get through. Um, you know, when I have a chance, I'll work on a block. So this may take me a long time to complete, but that is okay. Also, it gives me a little bit of what I call a palette cleaner between other projects that I may be doing at the same time. Yes, I'm becoming a multitasker. I'm starting to do more than one project at a time. We'll see how that works out. I know a lot of people do it that way and it works for them. I'm one of those kind of people who, you know, I like to get one project done and then move on to the next project. But in this case, I don't think that's the way this is going to be. Also, I love sampler quilts. I think they're really interesting. There's something, you know, when you look at it, you can look at it many, many times and find things that you didn't see the first time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Luckily, Stephanie has been doing videos, and my plan is to kind of work along with her on these blocks as she gets them up. Because if I run into a problem, well, I've got Stephanie, her videos, as a guide for this. So that's where I got the book. What about fabric? Well, I went through my stash and then I bought some more because this really, I think, if you look at the picture on the book cover, it looks like it really, let's see, can I, oh no, that's not going to do it. It really looks like it lends itself to, you know, 1930s style fabrics, even possibly Civil War fabrics. But here's my selection of fabrics. Now, am I going to use all of these in this? Probably not. I'll pick and choose, but these are bundles. So I know they all, you know, go together. I especially think the first three here will go really well, but if I need some darker colors, I think this bundle with the black and the flowers on the top will go well as too. So I have more fabric, I'm sure, than I need for this particular quilt, but that's all right because I have a wide selection to choose from. And I'm kind of going to do it scrappy because well, it's a sampler, so it lends itself to scrappy. So I have all of these to pick from. So yeah, that's a project which I may start on later today, actually. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so that takes me to the online store of the week, and this is called Linda's Quilt Shop. This week's online quilt store is located in Kelowna, BC, and it's called Linda's Quilt Shop. So let's take a look at what we have here. This is the front page, and you can see they're showing different shots of the store, and I did some reading beforehand, and the gentleman you see in that first picture is actually the owner. Not sure why they call it Linda's. But they do seem to have a vast variety of different sewing machines that they sell. Janome, Baby Lock, well, maybe just Janome and Baby Lock, although there's 21 pages of all of this. Okay. And they talk more here about the two. Well, they also have Fath as well. So 3 different major brands. Okay, so let's go up and check out their fabric. Now, I suspect they're more a sewing machine company than they are a fabric store, but let's take a look. All kits, pre-cuts, and patterns, quilt kits and fabric bundles, quilt samples for sale, and patterns. Okay, let's check the first one out, all kits. Okay, so they do have some kits here, and they are showing some charm packs as well. Prices are about what you'd expect. They have some jelly rolls as well, and some patterns. Okay, and they have 3 pages of these, and they've got some strip sets as well. Not seeing, though, in this section anyways, fabric on the bolt. So I suspect that they only sell pre-cuts and patterns and kits. Okay, let's go quilt kits and fabric bundles, and basically it's the same thing we just saw. Again, no fabric on the bolt. And one more try here, we have quilt samples for sale. So they have some samples that they probably made to sell some of their kits. Um, they look like they're all relatively small quilts. Prices aren't terrible on them, but we all know that a lot of places undervalue their quilts when they sell them because otherwise they don't sell, which is a shame. Okay, so conclusion, they do not sell fabric by the bolt, but they didn't have a bad selection of pre-cuts. Now here are patterns, and how many patterns do they have? 15 according to that. So again, really, I think they're more focused on selling sewing machines. So let's check out their sewing machines. They have an embroidery machine, quilting machine, sewing machine, serger, cover stitch, heavy duty sewing machine. Well, let's go to quilting machines and see what we have here. So we have Janome, and they have 21 Janomes according to the left-hand menu. They have 816 baby lock. I don't know what it means by Linda's Quilt Shop. They have Fath, 12 of those. We'll come back to Linda's Quilt Shop in a minute and see what that's all about. They've also put in here, though, some of the accessories like their feet and things. So the design of this website's a little bit misleading because they have separate categories for like feet and accessories, but these seem to have been embedded in with the sewing machines as well. So you do have to do a bit of a hunt. Oh, they do have thread, embroidery thread, sets of that. Okay, things are all over the place. We got embroidery thread here, and now we have feet and other products. Okay, let's go to this let's go back to sewing machines and under quilting machines, and let's see what's in this Linda's Quilt Shop. And two machines. Yeah, this is all over the place. So I'm not really impressed by that. Okay, so let's go back up here to sewing machines and embroidery machine. They have the Janome 550 ELE. I don't know what the ELE is. What makes that different from my 550E? Because in the picture it looks pretty much the same. Let's just go to it. Largest standalone embroidery machine, the Memorycraft 550E is perfect. Okay. So I am not really sure why they call it an ELE, because it's a 550E. And it doesn't look like it comes with anything different. It has a USB with 30 exclusive designs. Maybe that's why they call it ELE, because I don't think mine came with exclusive designs. And it has the Accu-Stitch. Yeah, I think I had that too online. I don't use it, but whatever. So there you go. And they have a Skyline 9, which is also an embroidery, combination embroidery sewing machine. And yeah, that's about it. Okay, so let's go back here to sewing machine. Embroidery quilting machine, now just a sewing machine. And it's mostly Janome. They do have a baby lock, a couple of baby locks. Okay, so really this company is a sewing company, open box sale. So some sales on some sewing machines that the boxes have been open for whatever reason. Now they do offer classes, all classes. They have a quilting class, beginner sewing class, serger workshop, more quilting classes, quick and easy machine quilting, drop-in Tuesday, scrappy club, mystery weekend. Okay, so essentially their classes are for the beginner by the looks of things, and just general quilting and sewing. Okay, so that's about all I can find on here. There's nothing else. Oh, feet and accessories, but you know, there you go. Parts you need for your Janome, baby lock, whatever. A lot of it seems to be Janome. Oh no, they have a Fath stuff too. And they don't really have much in threads. They have marathon embroidery thread. Do they sell sewing thread? Well, if they do, well, they have 6 pages here. Let's just go up here, see what's in the left-hand column. Baby lock, Janome, Linda's organ. Okay, they have organ needles, thread. Here we go, thread. And it's all embroidery thread. Funny, they don't seem to sell sewing thread. At least it's not in a logical spot if they do, considering they sell sewing machines. Interesting. Okay, so really, Linda's Quilt Shop might be good for looking at certain machines. If you live in that area, maybe you can drop in and check them out. Overall, though, this is not some place that I will be dealing with because it doesn't really fulfill any of my needs. Oh, wait. In their picture, they show fabric on the bolt. So maybe in store, you have to go in store to buy fabric on the bolt. They don't have it online. Okay, very confusing. Oh well, if you live out in that area and you see this video, maybe you can tell me more about Linda's Quilt Shop. So that brings me to the end of this episode of the Idiot Quilter. What's coming up? Well, so Chatty, this week on Friday, we have finished the Accuquilt series. Now we want to do a series on Walter using Lucy. If you remember way back, we showed it. He finished his African fabric quilt way back. In fact, he worked on that at the retreat at New Year's in Georgia. And it's time to get it quilted. It's only been 6 months. Walter has been hesitating. I think mainly it's not because he's fearful of using the long arm. I think he's fearful of me standing over his shoulder giving him directions. But it has to happen like that. Because he hasn't used the long arm yet since we got it. So I will take him through step by step how to baste the quilt, get the quilt on Lucy, layer it all, make a sandwich, baste it down, set up quilt path, all that good stuff. The hard part here is one, booking time with Walter to do this. Walter likes to do his own thing. He doesn't like to be scheduled on things. Yeah, he basically doesn't like to be controlled. So, this should be funny. Not necessarily intentionally so, but there will be yelling and screaming. Most of it will be Walter yelling at me and me yelling back at Walter. But we'll get this done. So that's going to be, we think, our next series. And I'm hoping that the first edition of that will go out on Friday. It hasn't been recorded yet. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of mood his nibs is in when it comes to this. Otherwise, I have no idea what we're doing on So Chatty this week. It's a mystery. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, we don't have any other real exciting things about to happen. I am working on a pop-up sew day in June. I think it'll be closer to the end of the month. Not sure exactly of the date yet because I'm waiting for Walter to hear when his next in-person sew day is. Because I like to coordinate them on those days because I'm here all by my lonesome. And I welcome the company from all of you when you come on a pop-up sew day. But we'll see. So stay tuned for an announcement about that soon, I hope. Hope you have a great week, and we'll see you later on. Bye for now.